Hey, it's Crypto Bobby, and today I want to talk to you about how to avoid getting scammed, losing your money, losing your shirt in cryptocurrency, because there is, as cryptocurrency has grown to being worth over, the entire market has grown to being worth over $200 billion from, let's say less than $20 billion at the start of 2017. The market for scammers has grown and grown and grown, and there have been new, increasing ways of people getting scammed, of people losing their shirts, especially with a number of new people getting into the space. Now, maybe you've been around crypto for the past 3-4 years. You're a seasoned vet. You fought off all these scams. You fought off all these attempts, or maybe you've gotten scammed before, and you learned your lesson, and that sucks, but it's great that you learned your lesson. Or you're brand new to the space. You just bought your first Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever cryptocurrency in the past month or two. I want to talk about some of the different ways that you can hopefully avoid getting scammed, losing your cryptocurrency, donating your cryptocurrency to various criminals, and making sure that you are better off in the long term and not getting your face ripped off by a scam. Now, this isn't going to cover everything, and since I didn't think of everything, if you do have other ways in which that you know of people getting scammed and how to avoid getting scammed, throw it in the comments. I would love to hear it. I can either make a new video in the future, if I can just put a nice compilation together and make sure that I get that out to everybody. So if you have gotten scammed, if you know of somebody who's gotten scammed in one way or another, and you know obviously how to avoid it as well, then let me know in the comments too, and let's get into it. So like I said, the big topic of discussion today is how to avoid getting scammed in cryptocurrency. I think that is vastly important, because you're putting in your hard-earned money into crypto, and to have that swiped away from negligence or to just not know what the heck you're doing and lose your money, that sucks. And one of the first, and I think the most important things that you can do in crypto is using two-factor authentication on freaking everything. Use two-factor authentication on everything. If you don't know what two-factor authentication is, figure it out. No, I'm kidding. But use two-factor authentication on everything. And specifically, I think that not just two-factor authentication like text messages, because that can be, if you have somebody who's really legit trying to hack in your stuff, they can get that on the phone as well. So either utilizing like Authy or something with or Google's two-factor authentication application as well. Use two-factor authentication, and then don't only just use it on the services that you use, also use it on your email as well. A lot of people get their phones hacked or their emails hacked, and then through that they lose all their cryptocurrency because they got their emails hacked and all their private information was in their email, and then from there it just spreads out and they're screwed. So use two-factor authentication on everything. If you're not using it now, you are just being absolutely silly, and it takes 5 seconds to do, and it is so important to make sure that whether it's Coinbase, if it's GDAX, if it's Bittrex, if it's Poloniex, I don't care. Use two-factor authentication and be smart about it. The second thing is, no matter what anybody ever tells you, no matter what happens, never give away your private keys. Ever, especially if you're new to the crypto. I mean, especially if you're new or you've been around for freaking 50 years. Crypto hasn't been around for 50 years, but never give away your private keys, or store them where they're accessible. So don't give away your private keys, and then don't put them online in some freaking Dropbox and be like, oh, hey, here's my private keys. Okay, well, perfect. They're stored on Dropbox, and you don't have two-factor authentication on Dropbox, and your password is your first and last name, or it's Bitcoin 1234, and you are shocked when you get hacked and lose all your Bitcoin. So never give away your private keys to anybody, or especially store them online where they're accessible to somebody else. And that is, I think, a big thing. So going to that point as well, I think this is really, I kind of think this is a no-brainer, especially if you have a decent amount of money in crypto, but use a damn hardware wallet. The amount of people I've seen getting hacked because they're using some desktop wallet that is constantly exposed to the internet, that is basically begging scammers to come in and to hack your stuff. Use a hardware wallet. Use cold storage. Just be smart about how you hold your cryptocurrency. There are a lot of people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars in crypto, and they treat it like it's, they just treat it like, oh, because it's like, it's because it's cryptocurrency, nobody's ever going to hack it. But if you had $100,000, would you keep that on your desk at work? It's the same thing as doing it like with your laptop. If I got $100,000 in crypto, I'm not going to walk into work with my laptop open, or I'm not going to sit in Starbucks with my laptop and $150,000 on my laptop where somebody could just press a button and take it. Like, that's so stupid. Use a hardware wallet. Be smart about what you're doing about things. So I think that's a no-brainer. And the number of people that have like bragged about how much money they have, and even on YouTube that are bragging about how much money they have, showing it on an Exodus wallet, and then what do you know? Poof, it's gone. That's your problem. You're dumb. So don't do that. Another thing, don't keep money on exchanges long term. There have been numerous exchanges in the past that have gotten hacked. There have been numerous exchanges in the past that have gone out of business, that have been arrested for fraud, whatever. And it takes years and years and years to go through bankruptcy proceedings and all that stuff. So, if you're not familiar with Mt. Gox, that's something that you want to check out. And if you don't know anything about Mt. Gox, check that out, because that's the biggest example. But there's also numerous other examples outside of that as well. You have Cryptsy, you have BTCE. You have a lot of people bringing up stuff about Bitfinex now, saying it's whatever they want to say about Bitfinex and Tether. Not all of it confirmed, but I think long-term, whatever exchange you use, I don't care if it's, maybe even Coinbase and GDAX, it's probably best to maintain control of your cryptocurrency on a hardware wallet where you are controlling it and where an exchange isn't doing it. So I think don't keep your money on exchanges long-term. I think that's something that you definitely want to understand and be responsible of, because if you just have all your crypto sitting on exchanges, it's a centralized point of attack. It can very much be stolen, especially if it's on a shadier exchange. Now, those reasons there: two-factor authentication, holding on to your damn private keys and not throwing them into the wind, using a hardware wallet, and not keeping your money on exchanges. Those are, I think, more securing the crypto that you already have. However, there's a couple different ways where people give away their crypto, which is the silliest thing on the planet, but people do it all the time. And a couple different things. So don't click on Google ads. This has happened previously a lot of times, but where, I might go to search my Ether wallet, and so I have it saved, but so I might go to search my Ether wallet, and right now there isn't any phishing. But in the past, there have been scenarios where somebody is paid to have myetherwallet.io or myetherwallet.ca up top above myetherwallet.com, and that's a fake phishing site. So that's not happening right now with my Ether wallet, but that literally will be a website that people will go to, and it'll be the paid Google AdWords, but people don't know, they don't realize, they're silly. Don't click on, in my opinion, in crypto, never click on a Google AdWord. Never, ever, ever click on a Google AdWord, because it could be real. It could also be super fake, and it could be a phishing site. We're going to go, and it's going to say like, hey, send your Ethereum to this address for myetherwallet.com, but it's really myetherwallet.ca, and then you send your Ether to it, and then it's never to be seen again, and nobody cares. And that's it. So I think that's one thing. Don't click on Google Ads. I would highly recommend it, and especially too, if you're on CoinMarketCap, you're going to see I wear contacts, so apparently I'm getting retargeted for contacts. But you're always going to see this big bad boy up top. Don't click on it. Don't click on it. Don't do it. Moving to the next one. Don't fall for Slack or Telegram messages and phishing attempts. Slack is getting really, really bad with this, and there haven't been a lot of things that have been put into place with Slack where people are getting messages all the time, and it's just kind of blowing up official Slack groups. So here's a website from Hacker Noon: how to scam $102,000 of Ethereum in 24 hours with Slack. So somebody who's doing that. FOMO is going nuts. All this stuff with initial coin offerings, people have basically created fake Slack groups, or they have done a number of different things where they're posting in Slacks like, hey, we're opening up an ICO. It's going to happen. Send your ETH to here. And people send like 20 ETH to some crap. And then it has become just a scammer's paradise. And this article is good. I'll link to it in the description. But Slack lets people send direct messages via email, and it's a great way to get your face ripped off, and that has not worked well and has led to a ton of bad things happening with Slack. So if you've even seen it, you might have noticed as well that a lot of the crypto, let's see. So I'm going to pop this in. So if I can spell Omise Go, I know Omise Go, OMG just did this recently, but OMG actually is closing down their Slack and moving to Rocket Chat because of all of the crap that's gone on with their Slack and all the phishing attempts and things like that. So it's basically getting too hard for some of these companies to handle, and Slack doesn't have the controls in place for a lot of these organizations to prevent phishing. It just happens and happens and happens. So if you're in any of these Slack groups, don't be dumb. Be smart about it, because people are going to try to say, hey, send ETH to here, participate in the ICO, do this, do that, and you're going to get hacked. So Slack, and I think Telegram is pretty bad with this as well. So going back to CoinMarketCap, up top here, wherever it might be, anything in cryptocurrency where there is guaranteed return on investment. And they might get around the guaranteed return and say, oh, we don't guarantee, but you average 1% a day. We might pay out 0 once every 30 days, but you average 1% a day, but it's not guaranteed. Anything that promises some level, some modicum of guaranteed investments, for the most part, that is a centralized service, a centralized company, I would stay away. That's just me. If you want to sit in the comments and argue about how much money you're making on some of these guaranteed programs and all that stuff, that's fantastic. But that's not crypto in a lot of respects. That's just, I would recommend, especially for newbies that don't know what they're doing. A lot of people are putting money into these guaranteed return on investment schemes that have no business putting money into those, and they're going to get their faces ripped off at some point or another, and it's not going to be good. I would recommend staying away. If you want to put your money into it, that's fantastic. That's good for you. Just be aware that if you do, you can lose all of it. And a lot of these businesses are not real. A lot of these businesses are not doing right by their users, and they're marketing to people that they shouldn't be marketing to. And that's what I'll say about that is don't listen to don't listen to guaranteed return on investment. If you want to take a risk, that's fine, but you have a very high likelihood of losing whatever money you put into those schemes, services, products, cryptocurrencies, whatever. And that's specifically the guaranteed return on investment things. There's other ways of getting some type of ROI with crypto, whatever it might be, but the guaranteed return on investment companies, they give me the heebie-jeebies, and I think that it's something that you want to be aware of, and just the marketing is great, whatever. If you want to put your money into it, good. If you want to yell at me in the comments because I'm against you making a living, whatever. But I would recommend not getting scammed. That's me. And then one of the last things is don't invest in crappy ICOs. So ICOs, there are a dime a freaking dozen ICO. If I could show you guys my email inbox right now, I wake up every morning with about 10 emails from ICO companies asking to be on the YouTube channel. Literally at least 10 emails every morning saying, hey, how much do you charge for a video? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I don't respond to 99.99 of them because they're all look like crap and they're all thrown together and they're all a white paper thrown together. So there are significantly more crappy ICOs nowadays than there are good ICOs. I think that's some have performed really well recently. Look at Power Ledger. It's done really well. It's been one of the few that have crushed it in the past month or two. Most have not done well, but specifically there are crappy ICOs, and not only crappy ICOs, but downright total scams. Sometimes it can be hard to differentiate between the two. It can actually be, in a lot of cases, very hard to differentiate between a crappy ICO and a scam ICO. So I will just say, maybe we cross out crappy and we just say something like, we could say something like fraudulent, perhaps. So we'll just say fraudulent ICOs. And if you guys aren't familiar with Confido, this is one that happened recently. So Confido was an ICO that happened. $374,000 worth of Ethereum got invested into it. It actually spiked quite a bit, and there were a lot of people bragging about how awesome Confido was. And then the Twitter account went away. The website went down. A post on Medium got deleted. The founder, who was, I don't even think a real person, removed his LinkedIn profile. It just went poof with all your money, or with whoever put their money into it. So do your research. I could do an entire episode on how to do research for an ICO and how to avoid ICO scams, but I will just say that especially now, scams surrounding ICOs are massive because there's so many people pushing how rich they're getting with ICOs. So anywhere where people are getting rich, there's scams associated with that. So I think that's something you certainly want to look at. And then also just surrounding ICOs, there are, whether it's in Slack, if it's on a website, if it's fake websites, if it's on Twitter, there are a lot of phishing scams around ICOs as well. So it'll be like, let's say the Props ICO is happening, or let's say the Bloom ICO is happening. They have whatever it is, Bloom's website, their real website is hellobloom.io. Somebody might go out there and create bloomico.com and then have a exact replica of this and then put an Ethereum address and say, hey, to participate in the ICO, send your Ethereum here. That's something that could potentially happen, and that's happened before with previous ICOs. So you just want to watch out for that. And then lastly, I think this is just has to be said. Before you send your money anywhere, always check if it's legit. Whether it's before you send your money anywhere, go to Etherscan and type in the address. If it's a known scam, it'll say there are reports that this address was used in a phishing scam. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but just do your research before you send your money anywhere. Don't be silly. Don't be dumb. It's your money. You worked. If you flipping burgers at McDonald's, or if you make $500,000 a year on Wall Street, whatever it is. Your money is your money, and you should hold on to it long term. So I think that's really important as you continue to go through the process of moving forward in the space. And it really sucks if you lose your money. So that's what this video is all about. It's just not getting scammed. Don't lose your damn money. That's, I think, a really important thing as we go forward. Here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, if you thought it was helpful for you, hit that subscribe button, a little notify bell, so that next time a video does come out, I do daily videos on crypto, so next time a video does come out, you get that delivered to your inbox. And I also do crypto live, or YouTube live crypto happy hours, where I hop in, drink a beer, drink whatever with you, drink some whiskey, talk about what's going on in that day-to-day crypto world. And if you have any scams that you've seen, if there's anything that you've seen that people have lost their crypto on that I should add to this list, definitely let me know, and I will include that in the description. I will include that in the comments, so you guys can use that to your advantage as well. Thank you so much for your time. Crypto Bobby signing out. Peace.